I'm happy to receive questions, and I stop here. Thank you very much for your attention. So we should follow the example of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. So we see that despite the fact that he was actually dealing with the same people who started this problem, who were involved in the change of the track, but his approach was not sectarian, or I don't know, divisive, or even to boycott them. His approach was, the priority is Islam. The priority is unity of Ummah. If we have Islam and unity of Ummah, then we can also contribute better, and we can preserve and present the teachings of Prophet and Ahlul Bayt in the way that we believe it's correct. So in a context of division and hatred among Muslims, the Shia Islam cannot grow. This is what we learn from the teachings of Ahlul Bayt and the example of Amir al-Mu'minin, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, and other Imams. If you study Aqaid al-Imamiyya by the late Sheikh Muzaffar, towards the end of the book, there are few discussions that he has about the approach of Ahlul Bayt to the caliphs and to the majority Muslims. These discussions are very beautiful. So the approach of Ahlul Bayt was, first, let us protect Islam, protect our commonalities, look for unity of Ummah. And in this context, we can also be able to build our identity as Shia better. And this is actually also present in the lives of some of our ulama. We see some of our great ulama who were good leaders, who protected and promoted the school of Ahlul Bayt, were actually pro-unity. If you look at, for example, Allama Sharafuddin, Sayyid Muhsin al-Amin, Imam Musa Sadr, Imam Khomeini, Ayatollah al-Uzma Burujirdi, you find these people were very pro-unity, Sunni Shia unity, but these are the people who promoted the Shia community as well. So if you study, for example, what Imam Musa Sadr did in Lebanon, you would see that no one can say he was against Sunnis or other religions even, and no one also can say he was someone who compromised about the Shia community. He didn't bother about Shia community. No, actually he was the one who did everything to revive and to promote and develop the Shia community in Lebanon, but with unity approach. Nowadays, even the situation is different from the time of Amir al-Mu'minin or Imam Hassan, because we are dealing with people who have come after centuries, and they had no role in what happened. Even they have many times no knowledge of what has happened. Many times they cannot even imagine what happened. Even if it is in some sources, they cannot believe that, for example, this has happened to the family of the Prophet. Yeah? So we should not think these people are bad people because they are not thinking like us. They have no information and no expectation of what happened. So Even Amir al-Mu'minin, dealing with the people who started things, had the approach that I mentioned, let alone today. So we can be 100% clear about our aqidah, wilaya, love for Ahlul Bayt, but at the same time we can be very much pro-unity. Actually, I think these two should be together. If we are going to have a rational approach and not go by emotions, the best thing for us is to make sure that we are functioning within a united ummah, not within a divided ummah that we are part of the fight and the majority of ummah is another part of the fight. Yes. In the book Lessons on Islamic Beliefs, I think it's end of discussion about prophethood. So I have explained this, that the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been to provide humanity with guidance, not necessary guidance, more than necessary guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does itmamul hujjah. Itmamul hujjah is that He provides us with abundant guidance so that no one would be able to complain. لَعَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ. So after providing us with our fitrah and with our aql, He also provided us with revelation, with prophets, so that no one can say, لولا أرسلت إلينا رسولا منذرا وأقمت لنا علما هاديا فنتبع آياتك من قبل أن نذل ونخزى, as we have in Dua Nutbah. No one can say that. Allah has sent prophets and messengers to all corners of the world that humanity existed. لقد بعثنا في كل أمة رسولا. So this sunnah of providing not only sufficient guidance, rather abundant guidance, led to having prophets and messengers. We believe that there were 124,000 prophets. Among them, only 313 were Rasul. So most of the prophets just preached what was given as a message to a Rasul. It's not that every prophet had a book or had a special message to deliver. They received revelation, but sometimes they were preaching the religion which was presented, or the sunnah which was presented by a Rasul. For example, in the time of Bani Isra'il, sometimes we had tens of prophets living together. One of the tragic things that happened was in one day they killed, some people killed 70 prophets in one day. بِقَتْلِهِمُ الْأَنْبِيَاء. So, prophets were not always bringing new book, new message, okay? But they were receiving revelation and they were preaching the last message which was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But gradually few things happened. One was that human understanding increased. Second is that human ability to preserve the message increased. The third is that communication among people and transportation also developed further. So what happened then is that we have messengers whose message reached many nations and remained. So there was a time then that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his final message for humanity, which was prepared for receiving this message, was prepared to preserve it, and was prepared to make it universal. After that, there is no need for any new message, and there is no even need for prophet, because the message is there. We said prophets many times were needed to preach the message of a previous or existing messenger, because it was going to disappear altogether. It was going to be distorted or lost, and also communication was not easy. But then we reached the time of Khatmun Nubuwwah, the time of the seal of prophethood. There is no need for any new prophet. Message is preserved. We just need to carry on with the rest of the tasks of the prophets. Receiving revelation, finished. But presenting pure understanding of message and implementing that message in real life scenarios, this had to continue. So we need infallible leaders who have God-given knowledge, free from mistakes, free from illusions. This part we need. But to have new revelation, we don't need, because the Quran is complete and is enough for us. Then even benefiting from Imams goes through different stages. Gradually, we reach the point that even without having access to Imams, we should be able to continue. The last few Imams, they had very restricted communication with people, and access of people to them was limited. Then we have Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and minor occultation, which is more restriction for the Shia to have access to Imam, is only through Nawab, those 4 people. And then that is again preparation for Ghaybat Kubra. So you see, there is a wise plan of Allah that, along with progress of human beings in their understanding and ability to communicate and preserve, Allah is withdrawing certain things. No new message and book, no new prophet, even no zuhur and huzur of Ma'soom. Now, based on what we have learned, based on scholarship, based on organization, we need to understand how to carry on the same message, but without having Imams directly telling us what to do. So we are like students who are trained to continue even when the teacher is not there. And if we show our ability to act properly in this period, then we will be gifted by coming of Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Faraj Sharif, but for something massive. Imam is not going to come and tell us, how to be good Muslims or good Shia. Imam is going to help us as good Muslims and Shia are ready for establishing universal justice and peace and solidarity. So we have some general things to observe, and then every person is unique. So you have to consider your personal also circumstances. So in general, so we all should try to be very good human beings, very good believers, equipped with knowledge as much as possible, equipped with good connection and belonging to the general community. It's part of Shia has to belong. But then every person may have different talents, skills, opportunities, challenges. So needs can be different. So initially you try to increase your knowledge, increase your experiences, look carefully around, and don't make long-term plans at the beginning. As much as possible, just prepare yourself for more general situation, and look around, consult, discuss, and then little by little, by seeing where you can be more productive and where there is great need and there are opportunities. So with considering different factors, then choose a line, and little by little then narrow it down, and then you would be in the best productive version of yourself. Okay, we don't need to all become the same, and Allah has not created us in a same similar capacity. Allah has given us different capacities, different performance. What is important is that every person should try to be his or her best version. Yeah, Allah doesn't ask us why you didn't become like that person. Allah would say, this is what you could have become. How much you have reached? Have you reached 100% of your capacity, or 90%, or 60%? Or I think many of us just maybe 10%, 20% of our capacity, because we have so much that we have not utilized. So your question is very important, and I think it takes time to understand exactly what you should do, but you have to prepare yourself. The more knowledge, the more experience, the more the consultation, reflection help you to inshallah understand your specific track. Yeah. What we know is that the position of prophethood is closed. Position as a responsibility, to be a prophet is closed. There is no prophet anymore. But to be great and high in perfection, in nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in being virtuous, is different thing. It's not that because we are not going to have any more revelation, then people are kept blocked from going close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, that's different. Therefore we have our Imams who are not prophets, but they are very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What about ordinary, non-ma'soom people? Yes, it's possible that someone goes so high that would be closer to Allah than some of the prophets. Actually, sometimes I put it in this way. I say some of our ulama and pious mu'mineen, some of them, if they existed in that time, they would have become prophets. This is the meaning of ulama ummati afdal min anbiya. So if these people were there, they would have become prophets. And also, if those prophets live today, they would have become scholars. They would not have been prophets, but they would become. Your virtues, your taqwa, your nearness to Allah, your understanding, and this is open. Everyone, based on their efforts, can rise. And you will never be stopped by saying you are now passing, for example, the level of this prophet, we stop you because you should remain, lower than that prophet. There is no class system in spirituality. So you can progress as much as you like. But it's very unlikely, or we can say maybe it's impossible, that someone, passes the level of Prophet Muhammad or Jesus or Moses. Among people, it seems very practically not happening. Not that because people are stopped, no, because those people were so much determined and ulul azm that it's very difficult to imagine that someone would become like Prophet Ibrahim or Prophet Musa or Isa, Prophet Muhammad afterwards. Although there is no ban, just this is the way historically, we think it's not going to happen. But Bismillah, if someone wants to become better, can try. There is no restriction. Inshallah, this is then also night of Velad of Imam Jawad alayhi salam and month of Rajab. So we end with Dua Faraj. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma kulli waliyyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا وامن علينا برضاه وهب لنا رأفته ورحمته ودعاءه وخيره. اللهم اشف مرضانا، اللهم ارحم موتانا، اللهم اجعل عواقب أمورنا خيرا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Thank you very much. التماس دعاء.